She's still just running away from me, dude. She's miles back and I spawn. Pin her.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Liam or Weagle on your Overwatch, back with a new video, and today we're going to be talking about Reinhardt. I've been having way too much fun on the PTR, as you can tell from that intro clip. It's almost toxic, honestly. Overwatch is supposed to be mad and flaming your team and de-ranking the whole time, right? Well, it's actually been a much better experience, especially considering it's a PTR, than I thought it would be, and I can't wait for everyone to get to try and play it in the beta that is out next Tuesday for anyone that isn't sure yet, and that will be on all platforms. However, I wanted to talk a little bit about the tank meta and particularly Reinhardt, because some people think he's in a good spot and other people are a little bit concerned for our favorite German hammer swinger. So, Reinhardt got a new ability on the PTR that a lot of people I think have been overlooking, and that is his passive Steadfast. And what this does is reduces all incoming knockbacks by 30%. Now, it doesn't prevent CCs such as freeze or halt being dragged back, but it does nerf Lucio Boop or fire concussion, Junkrat mines, and a lot of the horrible things that knock you about in the game. And straight away, playing him on the PTR, this does actually make a big difference. 30% doesn't sound like it does, but a lot of the boops that will get you out of range for your hammer no longer do that with this 30% cooldown, which is nice, because if Brigitte tries to knock you back or Lucio tries to knock you back, well, you've still got a 5-meter range with your hammer, and you're likely going to be within swinging distance, if not with the first swing, then after a couple of steps. Previously, what was happening was everyone would just toss you around like a rag doll, and it felt really, really horrible to play. Now, heroes like Mei and Reaper are quite strong at the minute, which makes Reinhardt playing tough on certain points, but the fact that you actually get to play Reinhardt as the tank that presses mouse 1 and W, I'm assuming analog forward and right trigger on console, but that just doesn't sound as good. And it feels really good. It's really nice, and I like that aspect of him again, that he actually feels like the Reinhardt we'll know and love. What this also does is brings him into play on maps where cliffs and stuff are involved. If you're thinking Lighthouse on Ilios or Sanctum on Nepal, you might not necessarily always want to run him on them maps, but if it turns out that you've got a composition that suits that, you are going to be able to play him without fear of just being sent into some chasm somewhere every time you try to take the point. And again, this further adds to the fact that you can play his more aggressive playstyle and get into the positions that you need to without having to be concerned about getting booped every single time. Now, although his new passive feels great, we do also have Sigma. Sigma's being used a lot on the PTR, which makes some interactions with Reinhardt difficult to test. And the fact that Zarya partners really well with both of these makes it even more interesting. Think about it like this. I initially thought when testing these two heroes on PTR that Sigma just did Reinhardt's job, but better. He just pushes W, he has a nice shield for everyone to stand behind that you can put in different locations, and you can also shell out some range damage, which is really, really nice. But one thing that Sigma can't do, which Reinhardt can, is stay in a fight longer than the enemy want you there, being able to just swing and smack things in the face. And there's a couple of reasons for this. The number one reason is that Reinhardt is better at close range at dealing damage, it's just easier, but also Reinhardt's got 200 of his health as armor, which reduces a lot of different damage, and some of it significantly. Whereas Sigma, even though he has the same total health pool, has only got 100 shields, which does not reduce damage like armor does. Also bear in mind the Reinhardt's shield does have more health and is bigger than Sigma's shield too. This makes him better than Sigma at pushing team comps on certain maps that don't want to be within swinging range. And my particular concern for Sigma is actually on defense. Sigma's pretty good at getting space with his shield, dealing that damage and making the enemy team back up. But when it's on reverse, Sigma's not that good at backing up himself. Now, Reinhardt is also a character that you want to see fighting a lot of the time, but he can actually stand his ground based on the things I've just mentioned with the armor and his shields. Sigma, on defense, gets smacked in the face, especially if you're trying to play him with Zarya. In fact, I would just straight up say that if you're going to play anything really defensively, you're going to want to play Orisa and Hog, which is still a really, really devastating combination. And I would say that anywhere that Sigma is better than Rein on defense, which isn't many points, but there are some where Rein physically just can't swing at things, you're just better off having Orisa. It's honestly just more powerful. Speaking of Orisa, Reinhardt is scarier for her now. Holt is one of the few things that still moves Reinhardt as strongly as it did before, but the rest of her team's utility is going to be much weaker against Rein than it once was. Now, if you actually roll back before this change, Orisa's Holt wasn't necessarily that great against Rein aside from dragging him in a well, because if he still had his shield, you couldn't combine it with the hook from Roadhog to get a free drag in from an enemy. So with this Reinhardt now way more easily progressing on your Orisa, if he manages to get through that shield while maintaining some of his own shield, it's going to be a really bad time for Orisa if it's a map where Reinhardt can actually get to the ground that she's on. Now, what this does do is it creates a lot of different options based on the map we played if it goes how I think it does. We actually mentioned in a much longer form video we did last week that we think people might now be able to pick heroes based on the map geometry that they're about to play. So if you're going to play Gibraltar, on first point you might want to have dive tanks. If you're playing Paris on defense, you're always going to want to have bunker on there still. I think it's still really powerful. But if King's Row rolls up, you're going to have the option of playing Reinhardt or Sigma on a tag there. But on defense, you're going to want bunker or Reinhardt. If you try and run Sigma, he just doesn't have the geometry to hide behind and shell things from a distance, as well as not having the appropriate shielding or armor that Reinhardt has to stay in the fight. Reinhardt can use that armor to stay somewhere longer than Sigma can, and also use it to progress on enemies. Both of these characters have got to be pushing forwards, but if they do need to peel, Sigma's just not very good at that in his current state, and Reinhardt is better. Being able to step into a meta, being able to pick heroes based on if they're strong on that geometry is the best place that this game can be, in my opinion. What it does is it creates some great maps for heroes that are a little bit more niche. Let's say Symmetra, they've got a choke to walk through, or May even. We can make them heroes more situational. Now, I think that there are some changes still required on the PTR. I would actually say Reinhardt could be a little bit stronger, but really I think we're in a place where heroes need to start getting nerfed a little bit, which is the opposite to what I used to say, but there's so much power creep now. The Sigma is basically power creep to Reinhardt, and Orisa's just insane because they were trying to create her to counter goats, and at the minute she's actually become one of them. She was supposed to destroy them and she's ended up joining them. This is not good for Orisa, but I want them to nerf the heroes so that we can get to a place that has happened before, but it's just always been very brief. And that is the place where we get to just pick these comps based on the map. When I last played the game, before I ended up quitting for a while, there was a time where I could get on a map and my team would be like, okay, this is a good dive comp map. Maybe Numbani is a pretty good dive comp map, or if we're on defense, we're going to put bunker up the top. With 2-2-2 ensuring that we've got some kind of team comp in every game, we've got so much less stress in the first 30 seconds in the spawn room, we can figure out what comp we want to run based on the map we've just loaded into. Hello 2CP, I know you like giving me 2CP, Jeff, but at least I've got a team comp now, and that's my number one hope for 2-2-2 and the role queue system. One thing I will say though is that Orisa is still really strong, but she's not going to be the best pick on every map, and you also have to bear in mind we're talking about ranked. So if the enemy team have got Orisa and Zarya and you walk Reinhardt straight into that, then you're probably going to win with Rein. And in other situations, Sigma might be your pick. The buff for Rein is actually one of my favorite ones they've added in the game for a while. I'm just hoping that they do tweak some heroes down a little bit, because I think there's going to be a few heroes that people find obnoxious when 2-2-2 drops. Ultimately, I think it's great that Reinhardt can actually press W again. You have still got to manage everything well. The shield is better than Sigma's, the armor's better than Sigma, but he doesn't have the range damage, so Reinhardt has got to get in there. So you use your body with the shield going down to progress forward, just like the guide I put out the other day. If you you guys missed it, I really recommend you go check it out if you want to learn Reinhardt. I think you'll find it very useful. So let us know what you guys think in the comment section to any of this stuff. And be sure to go follow us on Twitter, because I keep forgetting to ask and I want to see more of you over there for the memes. Be sure to drop a like, as it does help us out and lets us know you're enjoying the content, and you're going to want to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when our videos go live. Be sure to have a great day as always. Take care and peace, people.